I am on Kurfürstendamm, also known as the Kudamm. It's Berlin's most famous shopping drag, right in the heart of the area known as City West. The boulevard is 3.5 kilometers long and extends from the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church at Breitscheidplatz all the way to Rathenauplatz in the Grunewald district. The Kurfürstendamm is not just a popular shopping destination, it's also a fashionable place to take a stroll. The idea is to see and be seen. Modern high-rises bump up against elegant 19th century buildings, and there's one boutique after the next. But it's not all luxury here. There are also mainstream chain stores, independent stores and snack bars.
I want to pack as much as possible into my trip along the Kurfürstendamm. My plan for today: shopping, culture and sightseeing. We also head to the zoo and we'll be taking in some culinary highlights too. So, let's go!
Also on the show, a trip down memory lane, how the Kudamm became Berlin's most famous shopping street. We head to Mongolia on our weekly viewer video. And we enjoy a culinary tour of Porto with local foodie Andre Apolinario. I start the day with shopping. After all, it's the major attraction on the Kudamm and surrounding streets. First stop, the luxurious KaDeWe department store. It's located on Tauentzienstraße, which is an extension of the Kudamm. Germany's most famous department store opened in 1907. Shoppers will find everything they need and don't need here. From porcelain, decorative objects, and shoes, to accessories, to clothing. And if it's food you're after, there's an entire floor that's an absolute paradise for gourmets. From a burger to sushi, you're bound to find just what you're looking for. And if you're not hungry yet, you can take something home for later. Exotic popcorn, for example, some coffee beans, or a wedge of pungent cheese.
The Kurfürstendamm is a paradise for shoppers and also for cultural vultures. Here's a brief overview of what you can find in the area. Museums, galleries, theaters and cinemas. You name it.
The Kurfürstendamm is a great place for fans of photography. There are two famous museums right nearby. CO Berlin is an exhibition space devoted to contemporary photography. It showcases works by famous artists and talented newcomers. And there's the Museum for Photography, which features works ranging from the 19th century to the present. An exhibition on contemporary Chinese photography and the Cultural Revolution is running till January. Down the road is the Schaubühne, one of the city's most innovative theatres. The building used to house a cinema, but live performances are what attract the crowds today. Lars Eidinger, one of the Schaubühne's stars, has also made an international name for himself as a film actor. Talking of film, there are plenty of cinemas in this area too. The Zoopalast is perhaps the most famous, and it's looking very plush after being completely refurbished a few years ago. If you come here during the Berlin Film Festival in February, there's a good chance you might glimpse a star or two.
There are also museums on the Kudamm. I was curious about the story of Berlin. 23 themed rooms guide you through 800 years of history. It's not so much about facts and figures, but about getting an impression of life through the ages. This museum plays to all the senses. You can not only see Berlin's history, but you can hear it, touch it, and even smell it. I love the interactive concept. Walking through the halls, you can connect to the history on an emotional level. One of the rooms, called the Myth of Modernity, is devoted to the Roaring Twenties. A decade that helped shape what the Kudamm is today.
For singers, dancers, actors and writers, the Kudamm was the place to be in the 1920s and early 30s. This was where it was all happening.
And here, ladies and gentlemen, we're on one of the liveliest and most glamorous boulevards in the city, the Kurfürstendamm.
The boulevard got its name from the Kurfürsten, the Prince-Electors of Brandenburg. During the Second World War, large parts of the boulevard were destroyed. Reconstruction would take years. During the Cold War, in the divided city, US troops paraded down the avenue. And in 1963, crowds turned out to see US President John F. Kennedy. 2 years later, it was Queen Elizabeth II's turn.
Just the people on the Kudamm and the neighboring streets and the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church could fill the Olympic Stadium.
During the Cold War era, the Kurfürstendamm was the center of West Berlin. But after the fall of the Berlin Wall, it lost some of its glamour. The former East became fashionable, while the Kudamm seemed stuck in the past. But a lot has been done to burnish the boulevard's image in recent years. Many new buildings have gone up. Others have been renovated.
There's been a huge transformation. After the fall of the wall, there were only cheap shops here, but now it's much nicer.
More people are coming to the West to see what's going on. There's something new every day now.
Like the annual Christopher Street Day Parade, for instance, or big celebrations after football matches. Once again, the Kudamm is one of the busiest and best-loved streets in the city.
My next stop is the zoo, located just off the Kudamm. It's home to some 20,000 animals, an oasis right in the middle of Berlin. Two new panda bears are the current favorite attractions. Zhao Jing arrived in the summer. The public loves him. And then there are the tapirs. I'm going to help zookeeper Jürgen Jahr feed them. What do they like to eat?
These are South American flatland tapirs. There are also tapirs in the mountains in the Andes. Tapirs eat plants.
Like this.
Yes, raisins, carrots, apples, cooked carrots.
What are their names?
Pablo is the boy, and that one's Maya. Come here. Come here. They're very friendly. They use their tongues to take the food, but they also have teeth, so you have to be a bit careful.
Should I put my hand out flat?
No, just take the food like this and pop it into their mouth. Like putting a letter in a postbox. Very good.
So would I make a good zookeeper?
It's too soon to say. If you like, you can stroke him behind the ears, on his neck.
It's like a brush. It's the first time ever that I've stroked and fed a tapir. How cool.
It's time for our viewer video. This week's was sent in by Jonas Unger from Cologne. He went on a camping trip to Mongolia with his girlfriend and they saw no end of exotic animals. Just like I'm doing right now, but in the wild.
Now we're back on the Kudamm in Berlin, at the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church, a local landmark. It was damaged in a bombing raid during the Second World War. The ruin remains today as a reminder of the destruction of war. A modern church was built next to the damaged original in the early 1960s. It has a separate bell tower and an octagonal nave. Berliners have nicknamed the complex the Hollow Tooth and the Lipstick and Powder Box. The interior is cast in a blue light. It's designed to recall old Gothic cathedrals with their large stained glass windows. I have some questions for Katharina Stiefel, a pastor here. This church is a memorial, a reminder of the impact of war. Why is this building so symbolic?
There are hardly any traces of the war left in the city. Almost everything has been renovated or rebuilt. It's rare to see the destruction of war, like this bombed tower, in such a prominent place.
The church is very central and it's very well known. How do you deal with the responsibility as a pastor?
We try to do justice to as many people as possible. Thanks to a visitors poll, we know we get 1.3 million visitors each year. More than 90% are tourists, so we're different, of course, from typical local churches. We do community work like any other church, but we also do work for the city. We try to do justice to this special place by having 4 to 5 tours a day, for example.
4 bis 5 Führungen zum Beispiel hier haben.
An attack took place here in December 2016. 12 people were killed while visiting the Christmas market here. What were those days like for you?
Es war ein Ausnahmezustand. Im Nachhinein
Those were exceptional circumstances. There was a lot of solidarity during those days. That was what was positive about it.
Da waren mit einmal
There were people here who helped others, were here for others, comforted people.
hat mich sehr berührt.
That was very touching. But of course, I still wonder why. Why did this happen? It's a question you can ask, but there's no single, easy answer.
Kann man die nicht.
Okay, vielen Dank
Thank
fürs
you.
Gespräch.
Sehr gerne.
You're welcome.
Wiedersehen.
Almost a year later, flowers and candles still commemorate the victims. On the 19th of December 2017, a memorial will be inaugurated. A golden crack in the ground in front of the church will recall those who were killed. Despite this terrible event, the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church remains a place of reconciliation. And Breitscheidplatz remains the heart of Berlin's vibrant City West district.
As you know, from time to time, check-in viewers invite us to their hometowns to show us the local highlights. This time, we visit Andre Apolinario in Porto, and he takes us from one restaurant to another. Here's our Meet a Local slot.
Olá, I'm André Apolinario. I was born in Porto, I live in Porto, and I love Porto. And I also love Porto's food. I'm actually considered to be a foodie. I go from place to place, eating and drinking, every single day of my life. And today, I'm going to do that with you as well. I'm going to take you to a few places in town so that you can discover Porto through food. And we're starting here at Padaria Ribeira with a breakfast like any Porto habitant would do it. Croissant and a cup of coffee. One of the things that I love to do in Porto is walking, because while walking you can take a look at these beautiful narrow streets with a lot of these beautiful buildings that can go as far back as the 16th century. And while doing so, you're actually burning some calories, you're gaining some appetite to eat some more food, and you get to discover hidden gems that will pop just around any other corner in town. We just crossed the river from Porto to A Furada. It's a close-by fishing port in which locals come to. It's a bit off the beaten track of the most well-known touristy places in Porto, but it's definitely a place for you to come to if you want to eat amazing grilled fish. Although it's a hilly city, it's pretty walkable as well. And you can also find secret hideouts that have beautiful views over downtown Porto. Olá. Então, acidez. Sim. I hope that you enjoyed this journey through the streets of Porto using food as our guide. And let me say that there's still a lot of things for you to experience. Other than finding your own reasons for you to fall in love with Porto, why not paying a visit to the nightlife district, where you'll find that there's a bit of everything for everyone there. And be sure to have fun.
Just like in Porto, you don't need to look far to find a restaurant on the Kurfürstendamm. Café Kranzler was already a landmark on the Kudamm before the war. Café Grosch has revived some of the spirit and splendor of the past and is popular with locals and visitors alike. But I'm looking for something else today, something a bit more down to earth. I want a currywurst. And Bier's Kudamm 195 is one of the most famous places to eat this hearty Berlin specialty. It's not the Kranzler or Grosch, but it's also a favorite with celebrities.
Even Siegfried and Roy were here. Ex-German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder and tennis legend Boris Becker. Well, and I think they liked it here.
So let's give it a try. Currywurst might be rather rustic, but here you can also order it paired with a very elegant drink. The menu includes not only beer and soda, but also champagne. An interesting mix.
This combination is something new. It's an acquired taste, but it's kind of tasty.
Also unusual, the currywurst is served on china plates. Everything on the Kudamm is a bit classier, even a good old Berlin currywurst.
Exquisite boulevards have their fair share of exquisite hotels, and there are quite a few around the Kurfürstendamm, from the classic to the modern. Here are 3 recommendations for you. Not really cheap, but certainly worth a visit.
The Kempinski Hotel Bristol is most definitely a Kudamm classic. It opened in 1952 and was the first luxury hotel in what soon became the divided Berlin. Dozens of movie stars, politicians and artists have stayed here, including Michael Douglas and Karl Lagerfeld. Ronald Reagan stayed here in 1990, in the presidential suite of course, though he was no longer president at the time. There are 246 rooms and 55 suites. 3 restaurants, but just 1 bar. And of course a spa. The newer Waldorf Astoria is just as luxurious. The building is 120 meters high and has been nicknamed the Zoofenster, or zoo window. The view over the nearby zoo and surroundings is certainly everything you could ask for. This 5-star hotel has 152 rooms and 80 suites. The sumptuous lobby gives a glimpse of the luxury to come. In this designer hotel, the day is an hour longer than most. The 25 Hours Hotel also has a few other attractions up its sleeve. If you're more of a jungle person, you should reserve a room on the left side, overlooking the zoo. If cityscapes are more your thing, then reserve a room on the right-hand side. The popular Monkey Bar is located on the 10th floor. If you want one of their signature cocktails, you'll have to line up for the elevator. But the wait will soon be forgotten once you're immersed in the unusual surroundings and checking out the fabulous view.
The Kurfürstendamm is one of the finest addresses in Berlin. What I really loved was the cosmopolitan elegance. I can't think of a better description right now. But I reckon Hildegard Knef does, a famous German actress and singer. And this song of hers from 1963 was a tribute to the grand old boulevard.
Ich hab so Heimweh nach dem Kurfürstendamm. Berliner Tempo, Betrieb und Tamtam. Hätt ich auch ohne Wohnung und wär sie noch so neu, Ich bleib Berlin, meiner alten Liebe treu. Ich bleib Berlin, meiner alten Liebe treu.